What's good, everybody? It's your boy Tico on Blitz, back at it again with another video. And today we are going to be talking about the Object 907. This is a tier 10 Soviet collector medium. And there's a lot of great things that go for this vehicle in terms of its individual playstyle. First off, deadly amounts of DPM. If we go ahead and take a look at the stats right here, and if we go towards its gun, it has 3,262 DPM with a 5.89 second reload time. That's actually quite insane to think about that. However, in terms of that, compared to that of maybe something similar like an Object 140, it's not going to be on the higher levels of DPM in terms of that, but it is going to have slightly better armor, if not in fact better armor on the turret. And guys, you will get a lot more troll bounces than you would typically do on a Object 140 for that matter. This tank also has tracer cells as well, so it makes enemy tanks visible for all allies for 20 seconds, as this thing has pretty solid bits of view range. So, taking a look at the other individual stats of the vehicle, it has 180 millimeters thickness of its turret and 94 on the front of its hull. And then this is what the armor profile would look like right here. And I really do mean that a lot of troll spots do occur on the turret, as it is pretty much going to be a little bit of a harder time trying to hit a lot of these spots right here compared to an Object 140. I also have this Object 140 pulled up. You can see that there's more weak spots that occur on this turret right here than you can see on the 907, because you can see that these rounded edges right here are more space compared to the Object 140, which actually makes the 907 very hard to hit, especially when it's on top of you. If it's on top of like a hill of some sort and you're aiming hold down on it, although it doesn't really have the best of gun depression to try to outmatch the enemies when it's on the high ground. But in terms of that, the turret is upwards of 344 on these cheeks right here. They're actually pretty solid in terms of that. The full-on gun mantlet is also extremely troll, upwards of about like extremely thick amount, about 232 in terms of that. A lot more spaced armor that occurs on the upper portion of the turret right here. But there are two cheeks right here that occur on the side of the gun mantlet right here that are able to be overmatched quite easily. And then a hatch on the roof right here to which you can easily overmatch as well for that matter. When loading in the heats, it does open up a majority of small little wedges to where there will become more bits of cheeks that open up on the side of the turret right here. A little bit on the top portion as well, including a little bit of the hatch as well. When using gun depression, it really doesn't make a difference in terms of the premium penetration. It thickens them down over a little bit to a small margin, but this cheek in particular right here is a little bit troll, as you can see that there is a bit of a troll spot right here. If you do unfortunately end up hitting that, it's going to be an auto ricochet in terms of that. When angling the turret, not really going to make much of a difference upon that as well. So once we go ahead and take a look at the side of the vehicle, on the other hand, the full-on side's upwards of about 78. Side of the turret, on the other hand, is upwards of 194 in terms of that. And then making our way towards the rear, the back of the turret is 54, and the full-on rear is 41. HEs will be able to overmatch the rear of this vehicle, but there's a little tiny spot where if you are lucky enough to hit that spot, you'll be able to overmatch the back side of the turret with the HEs for that matter as well. So then getting into the aiming time, it's a 3-second aiming time with .231 dispersion. For average damage, this tank carries 320 on the standard, 270 on the premium, and 420 on the high explosive, combined with 7 degrees of gun depression while at that. And then maneuverability-wise, the tank goes at a top speed of 60 with a reverse of 25, with a pretty reasonable power to weight of 21.7 while at that. I should mention as well that this tank does carry improved gunpowder, so it's going to improve the shell velocity by about 35% in terms of that. So comparing this thing to the Object 140, like I said before, in terms of DPM, it's going to be slightly worse, as you pretty much are going to have a 0.8 different second aiming time in terms of that, as the Object 140 has a 5-second reload time, like evenly, or like a 5.07 second reload time when it is running the calibrated shells. I mean, I usually love to run the calibrated shells on my mediums just because I gotta have those pen factors, because you never know. You could have typical super heavies that are on the other team, and you gotta pen that using the heats for that matter. So in terms of that, so let's go ahead and mosey on over here. I'm going to try to poke on out for the time being. I'm not really going to go to the full riverside. Let's see what they got that's going to poke on out over here. In terms of their mediums, they just have an E50M. Interesting. Okay. So it looks like that he's not going to poke within this area right over here, which is all right. So let's see what else that we got that's going to be spotted on over here. All right, so we got a majority of their enemies that are over towards the left side of the map. So, and it appears that none of their enemies ended up coming on to this side. So let's go ahead and mosey on up over here for the time being. FB is going to try to mosey on upward towards the other side. All right, let's see what they got that's going to be spotted out here. We got that Conquer spotted. We were able to get a nice chunk of damage into him. All right, here he is going to be poking out again. Unfortunately, not able to get the second shell into that one. Reloading once again. Unfortunately, he does get past. That is totally fine. You got a E50 off in the back. Not able to spot him either. All right, so I'm going to probably sit here just for a couple more minutes. Let's see if the Conquer is going to back on out in the open. It appears that is not the case. Also got the Foch off in the back, and it looks like the Super Conk is going to mosey on up. Again, not right through that. Oh, because I'm running heats. That's why. Okay, because I shall remember that heat cannot cut through walls. Alright, so we did get a nice shot into the Conquer. We also have the 57 Heavy moseying on out in the open right here. Now able to get a nice chunker into him. We also have the Yo moseying on out too. Another nice tap for 338 into the Yo. Staying put right here. We're going to wait for these enemies to continue pushing on outward for the time being. Another nice tap into the E50M at the moment. He is going to continue moseying on over here towards my ally for that matter. Able to get another nice tap into him. We got the Yo coming on up. We also got the 57 Heavy moseying on up too. Let's see if we can get a tap into this guy. Unfortunately, not at the moment. So I am going to go ahead and mosey on back over this way right for the time being, as my Conquer is going to be screwed here at the time being. So let's go ahead and move on out. That's where having maneuverability is probably at its best for a vehicle, considering, or kind of like this one, because you are able to get out of danger zones pretty fast. So there's a nice tap into the enemy 183. We are reloading once again. Let's see if we can get a finishing clear into the 183. That is very good that we cleared that enemy, as a matter of fact. So let's go ahead and continue on forward. Oh, the Foch gets cleared. That is really good. All right. So let's go ahead and mosey on right behind to where these enemies are pushing on upwards for that time being. So let's go ahead and mosey on over here. Oh, never mind. Okay. It looks like our 4202 is going to need a little bit of some support right over here. I am full health at the time being, so that means I can take a couple hits from these guys. Alright, so we got the 57 Heavy moseying on. I'm just going to back on up for the time being. Get a nice shot into his turret right there. We got the E50 moseying on. I could care less. There comes the Yo now. Alright, so we're going to reload once again. Alright, we are reloaded, which is good. Alright, let's see what else we can get. There is the E50 once again. There's another tap into him. Here comes the Yo now. And that is where that 25 km/h reverse can be very handy at that. So, unfortunately enough, not able to get a tap into the Yo at the moment. But we are still able to out-DPM him in terms of that. And that is a very solid first game, breaking over 3,000 damage. A very solid start at that. So that's really what makes the Object 907 a pretty deadly medium in terms of that, and including the 25 km/h reverse speed and the deadly amounts of DPM that this thing carries for a 5-second reload time. Able to put up some pretty solid stats in this one. So let us go ahead and continue on going. You can also see that this thing can be quite sneaky at times, kind of similar to that of like an SDB, but it's got better maneuverability and a pretty solid power to weight at that. You are able to get out of danger zones without a hassle in terms of this tank's maneuverability, which is actually really solid in terms of that. So here we are loaded into our second game. Let's see what they got in terms of their mediums. So it looks like they have an SDB and a T22. We have a Bat Chat on the other hand. So let's see if he's going to mosey on towards the same side that we are currently going. So, yep, that is perfect. That is going to be the case. The only problem about this tank is that it doesn't really have the best of gun depression to try to poke over a ridgeline of some sort. It would have to be at the slightest angle possible. So what I want to do is I want to try to push on over here and see what we can spot that tries to push on outward towards the right side of us. Alright, so we got our Bat Chat coming along with us too. let's see what we can spot in terms of these two enemies right over here. We have the STB, very deadly vehicle in terms of 11 degrees of gun depression, and also the T-22 medium, also a very deadly target in terms of the armor department, exactly to what I mean, and there's a solid bounce on that T-22 medium. So reloading once again, he is pointing aside, not able to get a second shell into him at the moment. Oh, we got the STB right there too. I am just not going to let him get away with that, so there we go. We were able to trade the shell with him, so we're going to go ahead and back on up for the time being right here. We're going to continue backing on up for that time being right there. Alright, so that's really good upon our behalf. And ow, we are getting absolutely kerblunkered by a tank off in the back, which is unfortunate. So that is going to give us the opportunity to try to bail on out. We're just going to stay put right here for the time being. I'm going to protect my bat chat to the best that I can. Alright, so the STB is going to try to mosey on up towards us. We might have the T-22 medium that's going to try to flank in directly on behind us. So that might be the case here. So I'm just going to stay put right here for the time being in case if that T-22 medium does end up coming right behind us. Alright. Or if the STB ends up staying put right here. I'm really hoping that this T-22 medium ends up coming down here so that we can kerblunker him for the time being. Or if not, then I can just mosey on through with my teammate right over here. Alright, the STB does remain stationary at the time being. So what we possibly can do is we can corner this guy without being spotted by the T-22 medium and see what we can do. Alright, so our bat chat's over there. We got the rear of the T-22 medium. Oh my gosh, bro. And I missed the shell once again. Well, that's unfortunate. But we got his hatch spotted. That is pretty much the only issue in terms of trying to snap a shell in for that moment. Is that you got to be like extremely sneaky. Kind of like that. Well, we did end up giving him the same amount of damage back in terms of our behalf. So the STB gets another solid chunk into him. We got the T-22 medium. I am not able to pen him at the moment. Unfortunately, not able to get the shell in the STB, but he does bounce us in return, which is good. All right. So let's see what we can do upon this. All right, so the STB gets kerblunkered, so that gives me the opportunity to mosey on over here. Let's see if that T-22 medium is going to spot me for the time being. I really hope that he's not, because the STB is probably going to mosey on down the hill. Oh, there he is right there. But where's the T-22 at? Oh, he's moseying down the hill. Okay, good. So now that we give the opportunity to mosey on over here towards the STB, and we can finish this guy off. There we go. Nice, solid clear into him. We also got the T-22 medium now spotted over there. And there's the beauty part of having our DPM factors right there. So we get another nice chunker into this T-22 medium. Alright, we're going to have our bat chat maybe go in. Oh, he is low health, unfortunately enough. So, let's see if we can get a shot on his roof. There we go, 277 on his roof. That is really good in terms of that. So now we are basically able to outmaneuver this guy. And great job upon the bat chat's behalf for giving this guy the kill of the century. So, there you got the 777 version 2. I'm allowed to take another hit from this guy. There we go. 382 shot into him. All right, I'm just going to mosey on forward and try to get a hatching shot on him, but that does not, unfortunately, be the case. All right, so it looks like that the 777 is screwed for the time being as he's on the ridge line right here. So that is a possibility that we can hatch him for the time being. All right, so moseying on through. Unfortunately, just missed it, so we're just going to stay put right here. We're going to activate our heat shells. All right, we got one of the heavies moseying on forward. There we go, a nice hatch shot into him. So that is going to give us the opportunity to finish him off or not. Well, I can't complain. Still a very solid game at that. We were able to hold the hill for the most part, and we actually ended up winning upon that, which is really good, as we had some support from some of our vehicles from the backside. Alright, so 2,423 damage, destroying 2 in the process. Our bat chat did a really good job holding as well, as he did end up becoming the next damage leader underneath me. So let's go ahead and get into game number 3 in terms of that. Oh my gosh, what keys am I pressing? That is absolutely crazy. But although that this tank doesn't really have the best of gun depression, if you do have the high ground and you do happen to have like a slight ridge slanted downwards for that matter, it's really going to be effective when it comes to out DPMing tanks, or that's pretty much where the DPM is going to come in terms of that, because you're able to dump out shells to your enemies. They're barely able to spot you at that, as you are on the highest point to where they're on the low ground, and they're pretty much going to have a little bit of trouble trying to hit you in the process in terms of that. So anyways, we are getting into game number 3. Let's see what they got in terms of their lights. They have, or mediums, a WZ-120. Alright, that looks like that is all that they have for the moment. So I am not going to play this too aggressive, as I'm just going to mosey on right over here for the time being and see what is going to be spotted upon base A. So I'm just going to sit right here for the time being, because I do not want to get kerblunkered, as that would be extremely unfortunate if every bit of their vehicle ended up pushing on upward towards base A. So that is not the move that I am going to make for the time being, as I'm going to wait right here just to make sure if some of their enemies are spotted off towards that side of the map. Alright, we do have some TDs off in the back, but I want to be 100% sure that I am not in a very dire situation in terms of that. Alright, so I'm going to sneakily move on up just a little bit. Alright, we already got 4 tanks already spotted off to the side right over there. It could be 3. But I'm just going to mosey on up over here towards base A right here. Alright, let's see if we can spot them off to the side. Unfortunately not. And we are spotted for the time being. So I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, yep. And there's a TD camping off in the back, unfortunately enough. It was a 680 chunk, so I do assume that was probably either the E3 or it was the T110E4. I do assume it was the E3 in terms of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and maneuver my way a bit out of here, as we do have the 120 that's getting kerblunkered at the moment. So I know he's off in the back, so I want to be extremely careful for that matter. Okay, thank you, Rock, for screwing me. Anyways, we already have a tanks already cleared off to the side, which is unfortunate. Alright, so this 120 was last spotted right there. Okay, so he is right behind the bush right there. Alright, so it looks like that we got the E100 off in the back, who we are able to spot. Alright, let's see. We got the IS-7 over there too. Not able to see him as he's behind the building at the moment. I'm really hoping that they have some more vehicles that are going to poke right here in a couple seconds, like the E100, who's going to make a very aggressive overpoke. We also got the 777 off in the back, and there goes my ping factors. I was just about to hit a shot into him. Oh, and another tank is cleared at that. Alright, so it looks like that it was the E3 as he is just chillaxing over there. I'm going to take a blind fire in on him. I do not know if that hit or not. We also got an IS-8 off to the side as well. So we're going to get a nice tap for 274 into him. Alright, we're going to reload once again. We have our adrenaline on at the moment. We're going to keep farming this IS-8 right here. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. I don't really care if he hits me, as we're able to get another tap into his vehicle. Alright, reloading once again. He's going to back into cover. Alright, that is totally fine. Alright. Let's be real, this is a loss. Our team is not really holding up pretty well. And ow, yep, there is the E3 hitting me again. There, thank you so much, Grill, for blocking me in the process. So anyways, we got the IS-7 spotted off in the back right there. Let's see if we can get a tap into him. Unfortunately not. Yep, and the enemies are going to be winning us on base cap. Man, just 3 games in a row is just not necessarily my lucky day for that matter. It's actually kind of strange. Okay, so anyways, what looks like that we got some of their vehicles that are not aimed in on us for the time being. We got the E100, nice tap into him for 297. Alright, we got the WZ off to the side as well. Let's see. IS-7's going to poke on out for the time being as well. Let's see if we can get a clear. Unfortunately not. So let's go ahead and reload once again. Oh, we are spotted. And yep, that is our unfortunate defeat. Welp, there's nothing we can really do in that one. Every bit of their enemies was just straight out surrounding us. Some camping off in the back. Some wanted to prevent us from moving on forward. It's probably just the bad bits of luck that I'm probably going to do. I'm still probably going to limit to maybe 3 games. But if I just keep losing like this, then I'm going to have to revert it back down to 2, which is absolutely crazy. And I'm not joking in terms of that I am actually just cherry picking these games because these two battles right here, the one on Port Bay, the second one on Castilla was a victory, and I'll prove it, 32-79, 24-23, and our defeat was 15-47 in terms of that. Well, I can't complain. The Object 907 is still a very solid vehicle at that. It's just a better variation, or a better collector variation of the Tech Tree Object 140 in terms of that, with slightly less DPM, but better turret armor at that. So it's still a very solid vehicle, and it can be a sneaky one at that, as it's got very solid maneuverability built right into the vehicle. So anyways, hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on those bell notifications while at it so you don't miss out on any new videos, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.